Soup, soup, let's start the show.
Welcome to the Neverdaily podcast. It's me, your boy.
We're done. That's it.
It felt so wrong and impossible.
We just jumped the shark. We did a backflip over it. Your boy.
Nothing ever felt so unnatural as me doing that just then. Welcome to everybody, all 12 of you. We've got a great show today. I'm really super excited. Actually, Chase joined the video. We said 7 words to each other over the course of 13 minutes while we prepared, and then said, okay, you ready? So I'm super excited to see what we have today.
We did it.
All right. Well, to kick things off, we have just to wet your whistle on what we've got for you today. Luther came through in the clinch, in a pinch.
Yes.
In the pinch.
All of the above.
In the rut. Luther came through with a Music Tuesday on Thursday, and it has some 11:59 connections.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. I'm excited for that. And Luther's sent me a video to tee it up. So when we get there, should we just do it now? We've never started with Music Tuesday on a Thursday. Should we? Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So here's Luther explaining the I don't know what I'm trying to say. I wonder if I can share my screen and play his clip, because I need to show the artwork whilst he introduces it, and I wonder if I can share my screen and play the song at the same time. So let me give that a shot really quick. Sharing screen, going to super window, opening all the things in the tabs. I don't even see it. Why don't I see it?
Reading's hard.
Freaking. Okay, 1 second.
Plus, doesn't help that your screen's about a mile wide.
Yeah, it doesn't help. For everything else, it's great, except for when I need to share my screen. Okay, I think I figured it out. Yes, here we go. Okay. So here is here, I'll let Luther explain. Here's Luther to explain what's going. Oh, you know what? Yeah, it won't let me play him and show this picture. So
keep the picture in your mind, brain.
Yeah, I think I can put it up while I'm playing an MP3.
Oh, okay.
Which is why I wanted to show the cover, because I don't have a video for this. But it won't let me hold that on the screen and do a video of Luther. So here's Luther.
I have Music Tuesday on the Thursday for you. I got a song, really an album, but I'll pick a song for you off the album. One of our listeners has an album out that him and his wife, or him and his girlfriend made. It's AI, and they commented under one of my posts on the Patreon of the one with Ty and Kent, where we talked about AI at the beginning, and let me know his exact words were, and let me say his name now while I'm sitting here thinking about it, because I did not say his name the last time. Don Moraes, and he said, dude, my girlfriend and I just released an album on Spotify. We wrote the album, but the music aspect is AI. So check it out. So Sam, that's what I'm about to send to you, man. But this is my contribution to Music Tuesday on a Thursday, and Chase is going to make sure you play it too. All right. Thanks. Bye. Hey, and shout out again to Don Moraes. Sorry, I'm probably just butchering your name, Donnie Moraes. Anyway, thanks for the music. This album is fucking awesome. And Sam, like I said on the other recording when I did this, bro, I think this legit could be like an 11:59 album, because it's all feline related. All right.
Okay. So Don and his lady put this together. And in there he said he mentioned the song. I didn't hear it. So I just pulled one from the album. I wanted to name off the titles of the songs though, so you can get excited about listening to the rest. Here they are, and they're again feline related. Oh, let me pull up the picture so you can all bask in the glory of the cover art. It's two cats cubed. Little 3 for those that are just listening with your earballs. Two cats, KATZ, cubed with the little 3. And titles of the songs: No Plans, No Closed Doors, Toe Beans Magic, Cat Royalty, Treat Bag Shake, Petty Cat, Belly Rub Permission. Now, if you listen to the titles of those and you think, oh no, I'm going to hear something like a Toe Beans Magic, doodle-doo, you know, like the titles may sound a little silly goose,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm about to hit you between the eyes with the title that I picked. Get ready for this because it's going to blow your mind. I present to you Two Hands on My Kitties. Here we go.
Lies low, purse low, morning glow hitting. Two shadows follow, yeah, they stay sitting. Hands in the fur, whole vibe rewriting, peace in motion. That's where I'm bitten. Two hands on my kitties, they both real fluffy and they both real pretties. Whiskers on point and the vibe so gritty. Per game strong, yeah, they run my committee. Got treats in my pocket, they know I'm committed. Two hands on my kitties, yeah, perfectly fitted. They judge you from the still like human, you silly. Two hands on my kitties, best duo in the city. Soft paws, needing slow heart, steady warm waist, singing, not breathing, heavy world fades out when they curl up, ready. This is the life that keeps me steady. Holding on tight to the calm they bring. Two soft hearts in the world that stings when they curling close, yeah, everything sings. Two hands on my kitties, that's my everything. Two hands on my kitties, that's my everything. Two hands on my kitties, that's my everything. Sunbeam hitting for the shimmer so litty. One nap, two naps, whole day, kitty city. Scratch post, busting, no shame, no pity. Two hands on my kitties, my therapy committee. Curl up on my chest, they purr so steady. Hearts beat soft, world fade when they're ready. I don't need much, just them and my tea. Two hands on my kitties, that's pure serenity. Soft pause, needing slow heart, steady warm waves, singing, not breathing, heavy world fades out when they curl up, ready. This is the life that keeps me steady. Yeah, left paw tap, right paw stretch. Okay, her wave rising, bring it up. Lap playing fresh, locked in. Yeah, slow blink drop. I see you. Tail twist cute. Whole vibe boss, run it. I move when they do. Never first. Holding on tight to the calm they bring. Two soft hearts in the world that stings when they curl and close. Yeah, everything sings. Two hands on my kitties, that's my everything. Two hands on my kitties, that's my everything. Two hands on my kitties, that's my everything. My kitties, that's pure serenity. Two hands on my kitties, that's pure serenity. Two hands on my kitties, that's pure serenity.
That's Two Hands on My Kitties by Two Cats Cubed from their album, from their hit album Feline Nation. You can check it out on Spotify. Look up Feline Nation. It's easier than trying to search Two Cats Cubed.
Mm-hmm.
But
unless you know your keyboard shortcuts.
Yeah. I'm on X a lot, and I follow a lot of AI stuff. And you see so much of people, like there's two sides. It's every week it's Google slays the competition with VO3. And then the other side of it is like AI's trash. It's never going to take over. What's interesting about what they've done here is, all, like they said, they wrote it all, you know, and then they used AI for the part that I would wager they're not beat makers, you know? So, I mean, and I think this is a good example of how I think it's going to go, which is the whole I don't think people are thinking of it correctly when they're like AI is going to take over or AI is going to put people out of jobs and stuff. AI is not going to. Someone that knows how to use AI is going to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's being proven left and right every single day. I've said it before, I don't know how the future goes. People are trying to say there's a bubble with AI, like with the .com bubble. I don't see it. I just think we're going to continue. It's sort of like saying bolts. Bolts are never going to become a thing. It's always going to be nails.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't think it's an apples to apples. I don't think human creativity is equivalent to AI. I think that they're different, and that human creativity will always, should at least. I mean, we can always phone it in. I think the people that are critical of AI see people phoning it in with AI, and they're like, no, I can always tell an AI hand because it has 6 fingers, or it looks like they're being tortured, or they can't eat spaghetti right, or whatever the thing is. That's low hanging fruit use of AI.
Mm-hmm.
But really expert prompt engineering and everything, it's scary, and I'm okay with it. As an artist, I'm okay with that because I think it should be looked at similar to a bolt versus a nail. It has its utility. I think done right. It has its place.
Well, it's not like if you just go back and not too long ago with the invention of like tractors and heavy machinery and industrial stuff, like especially in farming, it used to take 100 people all day to clear a field. Now it takes one dude, literally one dude in a tractor to clear a field, or to harvest a field in a day. And so it's just the same thing with AI. It's just like other things are gonna come out of it, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that, and I don't know why. I've never got. If somebody said this job by Susan takes 4 days, or AI can do that thing in a specific task in 12 minutes, I'm like, why wouldn't? Why, unless that's the only thing Susan is doing, Susan's got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I've said about minimum wage jobs. They're not constructed to be a living wage. They're constructed for the lowest common denominator in the working class, which is typically 16-year-olds and up, or low skilled. Hey, I need the floor mopped. It's not a high skilled job, so if we're talking about something like imagine going back to the literal experts, like the savants that knew how to run the ticker tape, ticka calculator kind of machines.
Mm-hmm.
And then we build a digital calculator, and those people are like, bah, it's taking my job. I'm like, you got really good at
a niche,
a relatively menial task.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, why do I still have the picture of? Because we're still kind of still talking about it. So I love this. I was listening to the album. I'm like, okay, I got to pick a song. And I was like, these are fun. They're fun. And I think Luther is correct that this should be, it's really 1159 DNA, because if anyone knows me, I'm a fan of AI. You'd be hard pressed if you found a podcaster who hasn't figured out how to use AI to a certain degree in the early stages of collecting for research, batch download of bulk data, or any element of the research and writing process. If you find a podcaster who hasn't started using it, I won't be critical of the podcaster. What I'll tell you is you'll listen to their episode once a month.
Mhm.
It's everywhere, and I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I on Almost Fiction, you write the stuff.
Mhm.
You may, or I use AI now because it used to take me a day and a half just to collect all the sources for a case on 911.
Mhm.
And now I use AI to cut that down to like 40 minutes. It's still 40 minutes and a lot of clicks, but it's not a day and a half anymore. And I'm super excited about that because where the rubber meets the road with my podcast, at least, and I believe yours too, is when I get to opify or samify a script. And that's that. Your favorite big podcast has writers.
Yeah.
And they get close to sounding like the host, but the host, if he's a good host, he or she is a good host, they're going to punch it up
Mhm.
with, Mike Boudet is punching up a script.
Yeah. And what AI is doing, like, if you use it correctly, it's leveling the playing field, right? Because, like, if you think about some of the biggest writers out there, they're not writing every single word on their,
No.
in their book.
No.
I know Brandon Sanderson is huge in the fantasy world. He has my aunt knows him. He's from Utah. My aunt is also a writer, and he literally owns his house, and he bought the house next door as his office space.
Mm-hmm.
And he has like 8 full-time employees, and he's like the big picture guy, right? He
Mhm.
goes, here's the big picture. He pays like 4 other people to actually do the actual nuts and bolts writing of it. Like,
Mhm.
Steve walked down the street and Steve went, like, he tells the story, like, he's like, hey, Steve's going to go on this adventure. He's going to do this, 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 and this. And they're like, cool. And then they sit down and they write out the adventure, right? They write out all the little menial details of what Steve wore and how he got from point A to point B. And so it's like, now you can have AI generate those ideas for you, but you're still shaping the final product.
And I would say in any case, like, if you sat down with, Shel Silverstein illustrating for Where the Sidewalk Ends and Michelangelo and told them both to draw a woman,
Mhm.
take 30 minutes and draw a sketch of a woman. You would watch them for 15 minutes plus using the same base processes.
Mhm.
Michelangelo and Shel Silverstein would use the same fundamental blocking shapes, the form in the beginning. And it's not until the last 15 minutes where the nuance and the talent and the skill and the observation of anatomy would come into play. I don't know if many people remember this, but across the nation, our malls used to have, many malls had a store called the Thomas Kincaid store. And Thomas Kincaid is a painter. If that tells you how much gravity his paintings had, he had franchised his paintings into stores throughout the nation, and he's known as the painter of light. Well, and he legit is an amazing painter. Like, his paintings, they're so ubiquitous. They were so ubiquitous that Thomas Kincaid paintings are, in my mind, synonymous with the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how popular they were. But at a point, he had already gained momentum. He had already gained, his fame for his paintings and his ability to paint light using color and, shape and form, all that. He had a university where artisans would learn how to touch up the paintings. So he would paint the base painting, and so they would take lithographs of the paintings, and then each painting had a very set pre-mixed, and the artisans would be pre-mixing the colors,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're adding little daubs of paint to different sections on the lithograph painting, because a lithograph's a flat print. You can do it in a couple different ways, but a press, like a literal press, manual press is one way to do a lithograph, and it's multiple CMYK, there's multiple ways to do it, but
it's kind of a weird way, like printing T-shirts when you have
Yeah.
multiple colors.
yeah,
It's like, here's the reds, here's the blues, here's
Exactly.
the greens.
At one point, I worked at a print shop doing burn-ins, and you'd take pieces of film that were undeveloped and put them in a big box, light box, and you'd take the negative for a certain color, cyan, magenta, yellow, or black, and you'd lay that in there and you'd register it, right? I don't know if you've ever seen comics or newspapers with the little, like, it looks like a circle with little X or a little cross through it, or the little color bars at the bottom of like every cereal box. You'll see like all these little color boxes. All that stuff's registration and color matching for print. Anyway, and then you just blast it with light, and it would create a negative of that then we would use in burning. You'd have like a solid cyan sheet, and it burns that into the page. And I would at one point, my biggest job was we had the contract for making those Kramer posters from Seinfeld. I don't know if you've ever seen them. It's Kramer, and then we did the George Costanza where he's like half naked on a couch. And I just spent all day long burning Kramer and George Costanza posters. But it was a multi-step process, One other example, if anyone has a grandma, you may have experienced these willowy, very beautiful, lithe kind of in form, pastel colors, pastel pinks and blues, and like the off-white ceramic statues, ceramic porcelain statues called Lladros, Lladro. Lladro was the designer, I believe Italy, and he, like Thomas Kincaid, created this whole way of creating form, and sold forever, but the demand was so high that I'm getting a lot of like, wow, I've been talking a lot. The demand was so high that he got people to come in and learn how to sculpt like him.
Yes.
Amen.
And then bake them in the oven.
I got big gulped and eggplant icons for. Have we established that?
I think it's just because you're still scaring your screen.
Oh,
Can't
it's
say
my
sharing.
screen. It's not my talking as much. Maybe it's my talking too. Yeah, that's right. We were like little mini people on the side of Two Cats Cubed. Well, Two Cats, we may charge you for that level of advertisement that we just did. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
And
I also apologize.
To be fair, we have
off.
18 people in the back door now.
19. It just
19.
went up.
So yeah, we're like 30% more than what we usually are rolling.
That's 60% better every time.
Every time, 60% of the time, it works every time.
Smells like Bigfoot's.
It smells like a baby's diaper wrapped in burnt Indian hair.
Was it Indian hair or Indian food?
I think it's burnt Indian hair.
Indian hair. That's fun. You have a song too. Let me pull up your song. You can explain what you got going on here.
So this is just a song I like. I don't know why I like it so much. I just do. It's a band called The Front Bottoms.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. They're like an indie, what do they say, like emo folk kind of, is I guess would be what they are. They're kind of folky, kind of indie music. But yeah, they've been around for a minute, still around. And yeah, good song. I don't know why. I just heard it one day and it just made it into my rotation, and it's been in my rotation ever since.
I thought it was a girl band based on the name, but it's not.
It's not. It's two dudes.
So
two broskies.
Twin Size Mattress by
the front bottoms.
A phrase I never thought I'd say in my life. Twin size mattress by the front bottoms. Okay, here you go.
This is for the lions living in the wiry, broke down frames of my friends' bodies. When the floodwater comes, it ain't gonna be clear, it's gonna look like mud. But I will help you swim. I will help you swim. I'm gonna help you swim. For the snakes and the people they bite, for the friends I've made, for the sleepless nights, for the warning signs I've completely ignored. There's an amount to take, reasons to take more. It's no big surprise you turned out this way when they closed their eyes and prayed you would change, and they cut your hair and sent you away. You stopped by my house the night you escaped with tears in my eyes. I begged you to stay. You said, hey man, I love you, but no fucking sure that we could find something for you to do on stage. Maybe shake a tambourine, or when I sing, you sing harmonies.
That was Twin Size Mattress by the Front Bottoms. And I don't know why I like that song. But I will say you have to kind of dig like folksy music, which I know a lot of people don't.
You have a type. You have a type. I mean, there's definitely a Best way to put it is you're keeping emo alive, Chase.
I'm trying.
You single-handedly.
It wasn't a phase, Mom.
It's not a phase with you. You're definitely keeping it alive. Like, yeah, it's also, I could play you 30 songs in my folk playlist and none of them sound like that.
Nope.
I mean, you have a type. Like if your music preferences were a girlfriend, it would be black hair with kitty ear headband, and lug boots, and some ironic T-shirt.
There's a term for that. It's called a Seenie beanie, like a beanie baby, but it's just called a Seenie beanie, and you have to collect them all.
You have to collect the people?
Yeah. It's like anybody who's ever been in the emo, hardcore, post-hardcore, there's always these girls that would just, like, they'd have the peacock hair, like the crazy peacock hair that went around for a while. Sometimes it was usually either jet black or bleach blonde, and then they'd have the thick makeup and crazy. They'd have like the big boots, the big stompers, and yeah, we just call them Seenie beanies.
Okay, yeah, scene beanies. I'm seeing a lot. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of tongues sticking out and crossed eyes, and what else is going? Yeah. A lot of
black, but
a lot of black.
Also random like bright colors too. Yeah, just like Brooke said background, the XD RAR was like a huge thing.
Yes.
Everyone, they'd always put that on their photos they'd post to Instagram and Facebook. RAR.
Yeah, it's definitely a vibe that I'm seeing. A lot of not heavy on the piercings as I click around. Some, but it's not required.
But that's why like it was always, they're always just a little bit different, just like Beanie Babies. So that's why you gotta collect them all.
Yeah,
it's like Pokemon too.
Oh, that's where you back out. So if you Google image search, scene beanie
down that
girl
rabbit hole,
and you click around enough, you end up looking at Suicide Girls, which is not what you think it is.
Oh no, that's a company.
It's also a look and a type.
Yep. Is that your first introduction to Suicide Girls?
Let me try to put Suicide Girl imagery into perspective, into a visual for you. It's like someone took a pinup from the 1940s and took a scene beanie girl and then put them in a wood chipper. That's Sora in the back door said it best. Sora the Explorer said tattoos and boobs.
Yep, that's Suicide Girls.
And DJ said it best too. Tattooed boobs.
I'm glad that through the front bottoms we introduced you to the Suicide Girls.
Wow. The other day something interesting happened. If there's one like I'll still look for like knockoff movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a Plex server, which is where I store all my movies. That way that we can watch them throughout the house on any TV. But if you're like me and you look for movies, or back in the day, it was sort of like when you were looking for MP3s on the internet. You had your favorite website or sites to do it, but your right hand gets a reflex where when you click on anywhere on the website, it's going to open up a new tab of spam.
Yeah.
And so you just have this reflex where you're like, click, and then you go up, you close the tab, you come back to the thing. And I'm so fast at it now that the websites really can't load fast. But the other day I was like, I wonder if my history picks up the tab, even though all the visuals on the tab didn't. It does. And I do it on the computer in the den, which is where my wife does homeschool with the girls. And so I felt compelled to go to her and be like, if you're ever looking at the history and you're wondering if I have, I don't know, a casino addiction, or I'm like researching like a crazy person VPNs,
Or there's a million things for erectile dysfunction.
yeah, erectile dysfunction, or like weird, like poke an anime girl like website. Like the ads also, I'm like, they like, I must not be the demographic, because the pop-up ads on these sites are like not my vibe. I guess I'm happy about that. But anyway, yeah, I felt compelled to go and be like, just in case you're ever wondering.
When I did my mission trip for the LDS church, I had an email address. And so if you ever met the missionaries, the Mormon missionaries, they always go by elder, right? It's a title. So my email was Elder Ellerman at, I think it was msn.com at the time. But I guess I mean, it's gone now because I went to a paid thing forever ago. But because of that, because it was Elder Ellerman, my spam folder was nothing but singles, qualified older singles in your area. Like, it was nothing but
because of
old
elder
people,
like old people.
So I would just, because of my email address, it was like I'd get stuff for old people. Like, I was 19 years old, and it's just like, oh, dating sites for 50 plus seniors. And I'm just like, yeah, that's what I need. That's exactly what I need.
I'm going to tell you right now, at first blush, that email address is still alive, because I just sent a test email to it and I haven't gotten a mailer. Oh, wait. I did. I just got a mailer, Damon.
It should be dead because MSN switched to you had to pay. And I was like, I ain't about that life.
Yeah. No, you're about emo, but you're not about paid email services.
And that's when my friend gave me an invite to Google, because that's what you needed at the time. For Gmail, you needed an invite back in the day. And then I got my Gmail.
I used to hand out, like, anybody that was working with 1159, I'd be like, hey, I'm going to make you an 1159 email, because it's kind of fun, you know. They're like, oh. And I'd hand them out like candy, but now I pay $18 a head for people to have at 1159 Media, and I'll go into the admin and look at it, and I'm like, no one's using it. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you had, if your Netflix subscription is $18, you think about it every once in a while, right? Or if you have 4 streaming subscriptions that are $18, when you have 7 email addresses that you handed out because you want to just make people feel special, and you're like, is paying 18 times 7 just to make people feel special, is it worth it? No, it's not.
But hey, it's unlimited storage, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you use it. I can't remember if, I'm just so mad about it though. Like, it used to be like $7 and now it's $18, and this is what bothers me about subscriptions, is it's hostage territory. And also, you're subscribing to something you never asked for, and the price goes up because they add features you didn't ask for. I watched a guy the other day. It kind of freaked me out. I hadn't thought of it this way. But he's like, everything has a subscription now. Your car has a subscription. If you want your car to fully function, you pay a subscription for these new cars. And I'm like, yeah, that's a problem. Another one where I know, mark the date, December 4th, 2025. I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist right now, like the frogs, they're turning the frogs gay. I know it sounds like a conspiracy theory right now, but I was driving in my friend's car with him, and we get to a stoplight, and his car dies. I'm like, did your car just die? And he's like, no, the engine goes to sleep when we're at stoplights. And I'm like, you have to like turn the key every time? He's like, no, you just hit the gas and the starter starts the engine again. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, that's a short. So we created cars now that can electrically be disabled
Yep.
smartly. That's not a mechanical function to turn it off. Like the car is receiving a digital command to turn off. And in my head, I'm like, oh, you add in my subscription, you add one little bit of code so that the National Transportation Security Board, I'm just saying, combine that with 15-minute cities where they want everything to be accessible and everything's in a very small space, but then suddenly power, or you're in a city where they're like, climate change is out of control. Everybody's got to stop driving. Boo, donk. I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist right now.
I lived in a city that did that in Madagascar. It was like, oh, this part of town's had power for too long. This other part of town needs more power, so they just turn it off. Yeah. And you're just like, okay. Like at any point in time, your power could just go off. And it wasn't because there was a problem. It was just because, well, we don't have enough power to give it to everybody.
Yeah.
So we're all going to take turns using it.
There was a specific cheer that happened in the Dominican Republic when my brother lived there. He said, oh, yeah, no, the lights would go out. And then when the lights came on, the whole town that got the lights back would be like, hey. And it's funny when you think of it that, but you think about, again, like I have such a hard time shaking this perspective. My neighbor is turning off the power.
Yeah.
That it's not the government. It's somebody decided, hey guys, I've got an idea. My neighbor had an idea. We should shut the power off for a whole bunch of people. And it's one thing if my neighbor's power is also going off, but it's not a big leap. We've watched it over and over and over where my neighbor would be like, hey, I got an idea. It gets put into play. And then my neighbor says, we're going to make a corridor right through here, gated communities. I'm going to live there. Bill, you should get a house there. I've got a mortgage scam that you can get in on that'll get you a house here. I'll clear all the construction codes. Mm-hmm. We'll get all the paperwork done. And who else we got? Janet, do you want to live in? Okay, so the cool thing about this is the power turns off to the left and the right of the corridor, but not our houses. And you think I'm crazy? I'm not. It's happening in front of your face. It also happened in history over and over and over. So anyway.
Yeah.
I have a couple things from our friends at This Is True if you'd like me to share with you.
Best friends at this point.
We're best friends. In a way, it kind of feel like, I don't know if you ever get emails from people that listen to your podcast. I always love it. I feel special when you get the ones that are like, I tell my husband all the time I'm going to listen to my friends. my friends on 911 Calls podcast. Mm-hmm. My friends on the Neverdaily. I love that. And I'm sure, so it's kind of like that. They're our friends. They don't know they're our friends. They don't even know we exist.
Just like, meeting listeners and sometimes like, hey, remember? And then they say all these things that I said. And I'm like, I don't even remember saying that. And I said it out of my own mouth.
Yep.
We do that with our friends. This is interesting. True.
Yeah. Somebody will come up to me and be like, Wicker tramp stamp, right? I'm like, I don't know what you just said. They're like, episode 13. Come on, episode 13. You guys were talking about the Fandango dance. And remember that thing you said with the thing about the orbit? No? You don't?
I literally had people, what cases have you covered? And I'm like, some.
Yeah.
Some cases.
Yeah, that's another thing. I would call that podcaster amnesia.
Yeah.
You do a whole episode on something and it's gripping. And then people would be like, oh, remember when you did that one on the thing? And I'm like, I did.
Yeah, I did. I covered that.
I did that. Oh, so I should go listen to it. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so here we go. title on this one's Between a Rock and a Hard Place. A home constructor let me start over. A home construction contractor in Palm Coast, Florida, called the Flagler County Sheriff's Office to report an ongoing theft over several months of sedimentary rocks that were to be used for landscaping, which can be worth more than $1,500 each. These boulders are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It can be very, very expensive. When deputies arrived, the contractor had everything ready for them. Photos of the rock slabs, the name, address, phone numbers of the thief. I don't know how they got that. The photo of the coquina rocks were posted for sale by the thief on Facebook, including photos of the rocks still at the construction site. And he had called and negotiated prices to buy some. So this guy's like he's contacted the thief. One photo showed a rock in a pickup truck. Detectives checked traffic cameras and found images of the same pickup hauling the rocks away. The truck is owned by Thomas Dupree, 37, who lives at the same address in Palatka where the rocks were being sold from. Deputies went to Dupree's house. Dupree said that someone had told him he could take the rocks, but couldn't provide a name. He was arrested for grand theft. He has prior theft convictions, and the felony is punishable by as much as 25 years in prison. Grand theft geology, the dumbest strata of crime.
So reminds me.
Sorry, go ahead.
Where I used to live out in the desert, and there was it was on BLM land, and
Black
there was
Lives
a
Matter
slab.
land?
Yes.
I guess they do own a lot of land and mansions.
Yes. So there was a quarry, but it was on public property, right? It's literally on federally public property. They would pay rights or whatever, and they were harvesting sandstone slabs that they're selling as landscaping. So you can, like, one of my buddies told me, he's like, yeah, if you want, you can just go out to their discard pile, take whatever you want. And because it's public land, and if you read some of the charters on federal land, you can harvest stuff from federal land as an individual. There are limits to what you can take and how much you can take every year, but you can go out and cut your own wood for free, like to burn fires and stuff. There are rules, so check the rules first. But yeah, we'd go out to the broken pieces, and you could take whatever you wanted. I mean, it's public property. It's literally public. But the people would show up like, hey, you have to pay for that. We're like, well, this is your discard pile. Like,
You're not selling it.
This is your trash pile. You're not selling it. But yeah, it's funny how they would sit there and yell at you. Well, we dug those out. And it's just like, good for you. This is your literal trash pile. This is all public land. And I'm allowed to take stuff off public land in certain quantities. And so, yeah, it's just funny. Like, some people just get so weird about stuff that's not even their problem. Like, it doesn't hurt. They're an employee for a company. Me picking up slabs of rock does not hurt them.
Like,
legally. Yeah.
I mean, and there's even, I know people that they'd make the argument, hey, if you're stealing Twinkies at the gas station and I'm working there, I'm not going to get in your way. You know, I know people like that, but what you're saying is it's legal acquisition because it's public land. Yeah, and I've mentioned before, like, logging companies that make paper and building products and stuff, and they've negotiated with the government, and they literally log our public lands and sell the stuff.
Yeah.
That their business is selling free stuff that we own, possess as citizens, sell it to us.
Yeah. But the trade-off with that usually is, like, here, like, we have a paper mill here.
Yeah.
They pay for, like, the police force.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
we have
I'm
a tiny town.
oversimplifying.
We have, like, a tiny town, and we have our own, like, we have, like, 2,500 people live here. We have our own police department. Like, we have our own actual police department for the town, which, like, most towns this size do not have that at all. But it's because of the mills, and it's because the government's like, yeah, you can take that stuff, but you're going to have to dump a lot of that money back into that community that you're taking from. Like,
two groups of people come to mind that do the same thing. Cartels.
Yep, cartels.
which we would never like to think that a logging company could be equivalent to a cartel. But and then also another one, you're rubbed up against this place, Josephine County, Oregon,
Mhm.
where it's not a big leap when you've got a company that is paying for the police force and the community kind of says, yeah, we don't really need outside help. Thanks. But, and Josephine County, what they did is they were like, you had a police force, but then you have a massive crime industry, several in Josephine County, weed, meth, all sorts of things in the mountains that are productions. And the community decided to just dump all the levies, anything that funded the police. And they were like, thanks, we got this. Because basically they were just saying, well, they take care of us as long as we just let alone, as long as we let them do what we're good. That is that is how cartels work. So it's funny. It's funny that you say that, because it freaks me out a little that like a corporation can pay. Basically, they fund the police because the corporation should also be under audit.
Yeah,
and that's how you get corruption
There's
and
lots
forest
of movies.
fires.
There's lots of movies about that too.
Yeah, that's how you get a lot of forest fires, if nothing else. That's crazy. Okay, I got another one for you. Easy catch. The Indian River County, Florida Sheriff's Office says license plate readers identified a stolen truck. Where did I go? Oh, that they tracked to a home in Sebastian where Keith Rogers, age 37, was unloading wood. When he saw the cops, he fled into the house because Rogers has a long rap sheet and earlier threats to engage in a shootout rather than be arrested. That would probably cause one to flee into the house.
Yeah.
SWAT was called, and they were called to search the home. So they suspected he was in the attic. And that was proven true when Rogers fell through the ceiling into the waiting arms of a SWAT officer.
Oh, how cute.
He was arrested and charged with grand theft auto and resisting an officer without violence, but not without embarrassment. That's funny.
I wonder if the SWAT officer blushed when he caught him in his arms.
We have a I guess it's a reflex of sorts, but it's a family reflex. In my family, where my mom is notorious for getting stuck in places. Like she'll reach behind a couch to plug something in, and then she can't get out, and then we hear her yelping, and rather than helping her right away, what we do is we take pictures and video of
As
it,
you do.
and then we help her. And someday I'll compile a book of all the things that she's texted and pictures and video of her stuck in places. The best one was she was in the attic and her foot comes through the attic the ceiling, and then she's like stuck because her foot came down so far that her other knee was bent at an angle where she couldn't use it as leverage because her muscles didn't, her lifting leg muscles weren't good. And so we got video, photos of that. And attics can be precarious if you're not on solid ground, attic ground. I got two more for you. The Indian River County, Florida Sheriff's Office. Nope. I just read that one.
Yeah.
Sorry. I got
one more for us.
I got one more for you. Flying Pussy Alert 2.
2?
Not
the
part
sequel.
1. This is the sequel. You may not believe me, a woman told a 911 operator in North Carolina, but I just had a bald eagle drop a cat through my windshield. It's absolutely shattered my windshield, The call taker suppressed a laugh, but said he believed her. The woman, who had been driving on a highway in Swain County near the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, was not injured. The cat impacted on the passenger side, and a witness backed up the story. The cat did not survive.
Oh.
A North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission spokesman said it's likely the cat was already dead when the eagle scavenged it. Quote, "It's much harder for them to take a live cat than a dead cat," the dispatcher offered one consolation. "I've heard crazier." And when you hear, "I've heard crazier," that's not comforting to anyone. Like, what could be crazier than like, oh, you've seen babies dropped?
Yeah.
Like, what, well, I want to know now. I need to know what is crazier than cats falling from the sky. That's funny. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, yeah, if you tried to harvest a live cat, you'd end up being a lighter bald eagle because it would eat your legs off
Yeah.
whilst flying.
It's a
through the
razor
air.
blade tornado.
Yeah, just, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
Even if you're an eagle, like that angle, everything, it can put itself in a figure 8 and still
I did
something.
learn, though. I didn't know this was a thing until my neighbor, whose family ran cattle, because he hates eagles with a passion, and it's because I didn't know that eagles can kill cows, and they do it quite often.
Is it a bloodletting? Is that how they do
Yeah,
it?
they literally just dive down. They pop they'll go for the eyes first, and then they just go for the head and eyes and throat area and literally just bleed it out. And he said other times he's seen them harass some of the smaller cattle off of a cliff. Like they'll scare them off of a cliff.
Yeah, and then scavenge
them. But yeah, he says, no, they'll just go down and rip their eyes out of the cow's head and rip their faces apart and try to get their neck and rip it open. But yeah, he's like, yeah, eagles. He's like, I've watched an eagle literally kill a cow before.
Wow. I've seen video of Africa where like a wildebeest is getting eaten from the back,
Mhm.
like a vulture or something. Not probably a vulture because they're pretty shy when it comes to living things. But yeah, like a bird eating the spinal area of a living animal as it's like walking around.
Mhm.
Probably it was sick and couldn't, do
Yeah.
much about it. But
yeah, birds are crazy. Birds
are crazy. What did you bring today?
I brought some stories about hominids. What do you know about hominids? We're hominids, right? So these are weird people or hominids that the ancient folks thought were actually real. Like for real, as the kids would say. For real. So apparently back in the ancient times, people thought there was a bunch of other creatures on Earth other than us that, walked around, talked around, did stuff around. But at the same time, I was thinking about it, like, how else do you explain some of the weird crap that they had no idea? They didn't have, like, science and cameras and stuff. They couldn't see what was going on. So this was how they were kind of trying to explain away issues and problems. Sick, probably the devil. If you're dead, probably a monster did it. Because, what is a germ? I don't know what germs are. But there could be monsters that kill people for no reason. So, like, imagine as a teenager, you did something you weren't supposed to, and you blamed it on a monster, but your parents actually believed you. I think that's how half of these stories came about. People just making stuff up because they didn't want to take the blame. And everyone's like, oh, okay, I believe you. That's cool. So, like, other than Bigfoot, what other crazy critters do you actually believe in?
The Greys. I think the Greys are real. And ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
I think ghosts we call them ghosts, but they're spirits. I think the devil's real. I think evil spirits are real. What else do I think is real? Definitely Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's Kane. And I don't think lizard people are real. I think that's dumb. And I don't think Nancy Pelosi's real.
Yeah. She's like 98% plastic at this point. Melted plastic, but
Yeah.
and computer parts. So the crazy
And
thing about
soup.
all these crazy old creatures is it wasn't just like the plebes who believed it, like the people who couldn't read. It was
Mhm.
actually like serious historians were on this hominid train, on this creature train. So Herodotus, who
Mhm.
they call the father of history,
Mhm.
but they also called him the father of lies. So there's that too.
Yeah.
But anyway, Herodotus, the father of history, he wrote about people called the I'm gonna butcher all of these akphaloi. So there's these creatures called the akphaloi, and that's Greek for what do you think it is? If you had to guess,
Oh, Greek. Greek origins. I'm not great with. Ak.
Akephaloi. One word.
I can't even think of like other words that have that in it. So I
Yeah.
can't. I don't know.
Headless people.
Interesting. So Philo. I think Philo's head or brain or mind.
So yeah, they were those without heads.
Ooh.
So how long do you think you could live without your noggin?
Depends on if I had my brain stem still.
Yeah. So these people, they lived in Africa, and their faces, so they had faces, they didn't have heads, but their faces were on their torsos. So like where their nips were, they had eyes, then they had a
Oh.
nose, and where their belly button was, they had a mouth.
So they
Like-
weren't really headless.
They weren't really headless, but they just like their face was on their chest, and they didn't have a noggin on top of their shoulders. It was just nothing there. It was just flat tops. So like yeah, where their like I said, where their nips were, is where their eyes were, and they just I don't know, like where their mouth was a belly button. So question, are you an innie or outie?
I was an outie. I'm an outie when I'm skinny, and then I'm an innie when I'm not.
No, like which one are you attracted to?
Oh, like belly button wise?
Yeah. Do you like innies or outies?
I guess I didn't. I never added that to the qualifiers.
You don't care about belly buttons? You're not a belly button guy?
No, I also like. I guess by the time I would have seen someone's belly button, it's too late. I'm
Yeah.
either committed or I'm, you know.
Yeah. So you just had, it was more of like self-preservation to not ever get into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Romans, they had their own names for these things too. They called them the blemier, which sounds like something you'd catch from Hot Rhonda. Oh no, I got the blemier again from Hot Rhonda.
Hot Rhonda.
So theories about where these people came from. Most of the historians were writing down what other people told them, and so like even though historians might have written about these guys, it's just because that's the rumors that were going around. So they're like, hey, this is the hot goss. I'm gonna write it down. I have nothing else to think about. I'm gonna write it down. So it was kind of. You also have to remember it's like a whole long game of telephone back in the day. Like
Yeah.
no, like there wasn't a lot of people that were like making the whole trip from point A to point Z. Like they were only going from A to B, and then someone else was B to C, and then so it's just like everyone's telling all these crazy stories. So you could have started with like, hey, there's these strange looking dudes in Africa with ginormous heads, and then you end up with people. It's like, oh, they don't have any heads, but their whole torso's their head,
Yeah.
and so like it could just like things just change, things get muddled, people get confused. And then people actually started going to Africa looking for these headless people, and everyone realized, hey, everyone here has just normal heads in the regular spot. And so even a Sir Walter Raleigh, who had a, quote, badass cape, end quote, wrote about finding rumors of headless men, but he also was just like looking for them. He couldn't find them. He went out and was like, I want to see these dudes. Couldn't find them at all. So next we have the Androphagi. Now, Androphagi sounds fancy, but it means man-eaters. So they were cannibals, which is already not great for, relations. Herodotus wrote about them too, said their manners were more savage than those of any other race. It's like, well, they're eating people, so yeah, like that's kind of the last step into being considered a true savage, being a cannibal. And anywhere they lived probably hurt their Yelp reviews. It's like, I met some folks, they were lovely, they tried to eat me. 2 stars.
Yeah.
Will not be going back.
Not going to be.
So we have another historian, Pliny the Elder. He was Roman, so we're getting away from the Greek guy for a minute. He was probably the Wikipedia of ancient times. He wrote down everything that he heard. Like, he had that tism. He was just making notes on literally everything he could.
Speaking of tisms, I've hit my threshold. I apologize, Chase, but I have proper name tism.
Mm-hmm.
It's Sir Walter Raleigh.
Oh,
and Pliny the Elder.
Pliny the Elder.
I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. It comes out of my mouth.
It's all right. I can't read. I'm only partially literate.
Okay, you're partially literate, so
you're
I'm
just
here to
helping me learn. So
Yep.
Pliny the Elder.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pliny the Elder, he starts talking about these islands off the coast of Africa. How do I say this? Gorgades? Gorgades. Apparently, this place was kind of cool. If you like really hairy women, then you would have loved this place. So, like, we're talking about like Sasquatch level of hair, but it was only women, and there was no men there at all. And it was like thick, hairy, furry women.
So they had no men.
No men. So there's 2 variations. There's the variation where only the women were hairy.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a variation where there was only women, period.
I was going to say one of 2 things. Either they don't exist, or there are a bunch of dudes who are really hairy that are hiding some important parts and saying a lot. No, I'm a lady. I'm a lady like you. I'm a lady.
So yeah, so like I said, the 2 parts of the story is there was the part where the men were normal and the women were hairy, but there's also the part where there was no men there and the women could reproduce with themselves.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no on that one.
But the story, okay.
The story sounds great.
Yes, the story sounds great because you can always procreate without wieners. That's what I've learned in science.
Yeah.
So, yeah, these women are supposedly really, really strong, too. This isn't helping the women part. They were super strong, and so strong you could only hold them with chains. So apparently they were out chaining these women who were very hairy, and that was the only way to keep them from running away. These people, like, when you think about back in the day, their brains were very specially made.
Yeah, the thing that gets me about, and it's not even fake history, it's like real history. Like there were a lot of times in our history where it was that person's weird, let's capture them. Like let's put them in a cage. Like it's just such a weird, but then if you were to cage that person and be like, let me out, how dare you do it, it's like it's diabolical.
So yeah, one guy said he went to the island and he brought back 2 of the women's skins. Apparently he caught them, skinned them, and tanned them, and he said, hey, look, these are the hairy skins of the women's that I killed.
Or he brought the skins back, and on the island there are 2 women who look like a anatomy model.
Yeah. So either the worst souvenir ever or an amazing throw blanket.
Yeah.
You pick.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was the hairy ladies. The hairy ladies. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Next we have the Astomi. These people or creatures lived near the Ganges River in India, and they didn't eat food. That was their whole thing. That was their shtick. Do you want to know why they didn't eat food?
Ganges rivers. Sorry. It's Ganges.
Gamges.
No, Ganges. G-A-N. Gan. Jeez.
Jeez. So they had no mouths whatsoever. There was just nothing there. I don't know how they communicated, but if you had no mouth, how would you survive? Like, what do you think they did to survive? How do you think they
Well-
got sustenance?
I've spent an inordinate amount of time. Seriously, I've spent an inordinate amount of time studying how to do a stoma, just in case I ever had to. So that's what I would do, as long as everything else inside was still intact.
Well, that's not what they did. They just decided to evolve to where they could gain their sustenance by smelling things.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
They survived by sniffing flowers and fruit and good smelling stuff.
Sounds
Their
like a
whole
bunch-
diet was just huffing daisies, taking in that La Croix-like essence.
Sounds like Burning Man.
Yeah, it pretty much is. When they traveled, they apparently would bring their own food in the form of perfume. So, like, they used perfume as energy. It was like their version of Red Bull. Just huffing little whiffs of perfume,
Yeah.
getting that energy to go throughout the day. But here's the downside of when you live on smells. Good smells sustain you. Bad smells, if they're bad enough, could actually kill these people.
So there's a bunch of latrines full of dead people.
Yeah. So it's like, you know those how people get really mad when you microwave fish in the break room? Well,
Yeah.
for these people, it could literally kill them.
Ah, that's so.
Just kill them dead. So now we have the Panati. Their name literally means ears. Why? Ears, noses, no heads. So these people, their ears were so big, they wore their ears as clothes. They would literally wrap themselves in their cuddly blanket of ears. Just wrap them around their chesticles, pull them down over their genitals.
Be really noisy for you. You
Yeah.
know, like your body rubbing against your ears in
Yeah.
a tight belt.
It would be like when you hold a seashell up to your ear, but just friction instead, all the time. So yeah, they just, when it was cold, they just wrapped themselves up in their ears. And Pliny, I know. Pliny the Roman guy, he also talks about these people. They lived in India. I can't speak
Idiot.
today.
They lived in
Idiot.
idiot.
They live in I'm an Idiot, India, completely covered by their huge ears. And there were some, their ears were so long they would hang down to their elbows. I wonder how big their AirPods were. Like, they'd have to be pretty big AirPods.
Mom, I lost my AirPods. Have you checked your ear?
Yeah, have you checked it? It's like the size of a garbage can.
Yeah.
Just like shove it in their ear. So that was the ear people. Now we're talking about pygmies. And guess what? Those were actually real, they found out.
They were, yeah.
But when they first started learning about them, Homer was one of the first people who actually wrote about them in history. I even pronounced that one right. The Iliad guy
Mm-hmm.
who wrote the Iliad. I pronounced that one right.
Mm-hmm.
But so when he started talking about them, he's like, yeah, they are in a war with cranes.
Sounds like a Lord of the Rings movie.
Not construction equipment, 'cause they didn't have a lot of that, with actual birds. These little dudes were just fighting birds all day. Guess who else believed that? Aristotle. He wrote about the pygmies and their constant, ever-living battle with cranes.
Hmm.
And he also said they rode tiny little horses. So he was making them even cuter. Just little dudes on their tiny horses jousting with cranes.
Well, the real pygmies did have little elephants.
Mm-hmm.
They had little elephants. I believe wasn't that on Madagascar where they found the cave, isn't it?
I don't know. I didn't
I think it was
research
on
that
Madagascar
that
where they
deep enough,
found
but
the
it
cave
wouldn't
with
surprise me
little
because
hobbit
those are
people.
some tiny people. If you ever been at those are some small people. We one of my buddies who was there with me at the time, he ended up playing defensive tackle in the NFL. He's a Polynesian kid, Samoan, ginormous. He was like 400 pounds when he got there, and people would just call him the monster. And people would literally stop in the street and just stare at him as he walked by. He was probably like 6'4", and when he got there, he was 392 pounds.
Wow.
just a monster of a man. And nose tackle in the NFL, ginormous guy. And people
Wow.
would literally just stop and stare, and they would point and call him a monster. So yeah, he was the opposite of the pygmies.
Yeah, he was.
So we're gonna talk about one more, and then I'll be done. So the Arimospi. These people were Cyclopses. They were like the original Cyclops, but unlike the Cyclops, they weren't like giant and strong and buff and stuff. They were just normal people with an eye in the middle.
Mm.
And so, what do you think their main gig was? So the pygmies were crane battlers.
Mm.
What do you think these people's weird trait was, other than being one-eyed?
I don't know.
Well, you're wrong.
Oh.
Fighting griffins
I never would have guessed.
for their gold.
Because griffins have gold.
And apparently griffins were also real at the time
Yeah.
and had lots of gold. And
Mm.
so these people, that their whole lot in life was to train like Spartans to learn how to fight griffins to take their gold. Basically like the worst Harry Potter fanfic ever is pretty much what these people were.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like when you're bored enough and you don't have Netflix, you'll just come up with the craziest stories back in the day. There's a
Animals that
Cyclops
collect
and he
stuff.
fights animals.
Animals that collect stuff always kind of intrigue me because, like, we collect stuff to transact. You know,
Mhm.
raccoons don't. They just collect it because it's shiny. You know,
Mhm.
it's like they never bring it back or like ask for something in exchange. It's curious to me. It's always been curious to me. Animals that collect shiny objects.
Yeah, it's always shiny because crows do that too.
Yeah.
But they'll transact though. That's the other thing with crows
Yes.
is they'll transact. So it's like like you said, they see a value in it.
Mhm.
Whereas like raccoons, it's just like I like that, I'm gonna take it.
Yep. Golden Retriever, bless their dumb hearts. They'll do the same. They'll bring you a dead rat.
Yeah.
Look what I got. Brought this for you.
Yeah, this is for you. I love you.
Okay, so we are leaving the land of weird hominids, and we're going to Scotland.
I thought we were leaving the land of weird hominids.
Ha ha ha! Zing, zing to our Scottish listeners.
Burn.
I just Spotify Wrapped just finished on the side note, and then people can share like what their number one podcasts and stuff are.
Mm-hmm.
We had somebody post on Facebook that their number one podcast was the Neverdaily, and
I'm sorry.
yeah, I was like, thank you, weirdo. No, I was very grateful. It's funny. It's funny. To each his own. It's funny. Like, imagine having a super ugly baby, and people like seeing past its ugliness to see its beautiful skills and eloquent singing voice.
And its soft and caring heart.
Yeah. Oh no. Neverdaily is just like, for me, it's just my outlet for my brain to do the did you know dump, which I need every once in a while.
You get to do your autism, tell everyone what you just learned.
Yep. It's like a twice weekly backyard barbecue, because that's all I do at barbecues too. All right, so today we're going to Scotland. If you're looking for haggis or the Highlands, you can go somewhere else for that. But today I'm bringing you a story that it's equal parts heartbreaking, baffling, and maybe supernatural. So 33.33% each of those things.
You had me at supernatural.
Okay,
That
well.
was the last thing you said, by the way. Take that as you will.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know if you ever heard of the Overton Window?
No, I haven't. I'm not going to lie.
So the Overton Window basically anything that's inside of the Overton Window is described as what we deem as socially acceptable.
Okay.
And so pundits, philosophers, psychologists, everybody like that, they say, oh, the Overton window has shifted. So, like, for example, when something that wasn't en vogue and maybe it was even repulsive a decade ago is now like everybody's okay with it, that is a shift in the Overton window.
OnlyFans.
We're not talking about the Overton window today, but I wanted to bring that up because we're talking about the Overton Bridge in Scotland. Okay, I need to give you the other title. This sets it up. Stick around. I'm kind of scared about doing this one. Overton Bridge, often called the Dog Suicide Bridge. Over the decades, hundreds of dogs have inexplicably plunged from this unassuming stone archway into the gorge below. Some survive with broken bones, others not so lucky. What drives them to do this, to just literally leap to their peril? It might be accident or instinct. Maybe it's the architecture or something far more sinister like a curse or an otherworldly pull. So we're gonna dig in on this. So let's start with the setting. It's Overton Bridge, spans the Overton Burn, a rushing stream in the village of Milton near Dumbarton in West Dumbartonshire, Scotland. Built between 1895 and 1897, the bridge was the brainchild of John Douglas Campbell, no relation to soup cans.
Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
He was the 8th Duke of Argyll. He owned the nearby Overton House. You're going to see a theme here. A lot of objects just with Overton in front of them. The Overton House was a sprawling Victorian mansion that's since become a center for Christian charity work. The house itself is a Gothic revival masterpiece perched on a wooden... I'm going to do my real estate agent presentation voice for you here. I'm gonna pull up Janice.
So what we're looking at here is the Overton House. It's, as you can see, it's a sprawling Victorian mansion perched on a wooden wooden. I'm so sorry. I had 2 Schlitz malt liquors before this appointment. Perched on a wooded Christian charity work. Nope, I read the wrong line. Oh gosh, this is gonna... You want to see my boobs? Is that gonna sell this for you? No? Okay. Perched on a wooded hillside overlooking the River Clyde Valley. Picture grand towers, ornate stonework, and 54 acres of manicured gardens that once hosted high society gatherings. You could bring those gatherings back, Bill and Susan. Think about it. The bridge, it's outside the property, and it's simple yet elegant. 50-foot-high arch of red sandstone connects the estate to the driveway to the main road and allows visitors to approach the house without muddying their boots from the burn below.
So that's a little about the bridge, its proximity, and the Overton House. But Overton Bridge isn't just a pretty pathway. It's a place steeped in history and, some say, sorrow. The estate's origins trace back to the 19th century when industrialist James White purchased the land and built the house for his family. After his death, it passed to the Campbell family, and whispers of tragedy began almost immediately. The bridge's location is kind of in a misty, forested glen, which adds some eerie allure to it. There's thick, dense woods, the constant roar of the water, and fog that rolls in from the nearby Clyde, turning the area into something out of a Bronte novel. If you've never read Charlotte Bronte, hit her up. Charlotte's she writes some bangers.
Follow me on Instagram.
It's beautiful there, yes, but there's an undercurrent of unease that locals have felt for generations. And it was here in the mid 20th century that the bridge started earning its dark reputation. The first reports of dogs jumping from Overton Bridge surfaced in the 50s, but the phenomenon truly exploded into public consciousness in the 1960s and 70s. By conservative estimates, between 300 and 600 dogs have made the leap since then. The true number could be higher because there's nighttime and fog and dense forest or wooded hillsides. Not all the incidents probably have been reported either. So these aren't wild strays or like abused animals either. Most are beloved family pets like labs and collies, German shepherds, terriers, just walking happily on leashes with their owners. The jumps happen consistently from the same exact spot on the bridge, the right-hand side of the bridge, when facing downhill between the final two parapets, which would be like the pillars. The drop is about 15 meters, it's about 50 feet, into rocky, churning water, often resulting in broken backs, legs, or worse. Miraculously, some of the dogs have survived, like I said, with injuries, only to return to the bridge days or weeks later and try again.
Why?
Take the case of Jake, a 2-year-old Jack Russell Terrier in 2005. His owner was Anne McLaughlin. She was strolling along the bridge when Jake suddenly bolted toward the edge without warning. He plummeted into the gorge, landing on his back and suffering severe spinal injuries that left him partially paralyzed. Vet said he'd never walk again, but after months of therapy, Jake defied the odds and recovered. Yet, when Anne brought him back to Overton for a visit, Jake made a beeline for the exact same spot, only this time Anne yanked him back just in time. So stories like Jake's, they're not isolated. In 1994, a German shepherd named Ben apparently jumped twice in quick succession, surviving the first fall, but died from his injuries after the second. And then there's Gucci, a pet who leapt in 2008, breaking his back, but eventually making a full recovery, only to attempt to jump again months later. So what makes these incidents so chilling is the pattern. Owners describe their dogs as calm and content moments before the leap. They're not chasing squirrels, or they're not spooked by some reaction to, some like vehicle or noise or anything like that. Just a sudden, inexplicable dash toward doom. So many of the dogs show no fear of heights beforehand. They're regular walkers. They know the bridge well. Post-jump, survivors often seem disoriented but otherwise normal, as if nothing unusual happened. The bridge's parapets are only about 4 feet high, so they're low enough for a determined dog to clear, but not so low that these are accidents, or that it's all of these are frequent, so many accidents that are so frequent because of something about the construction of the bridge. By the 1980s, the local council had erected fences and signs warning of the danger, but the leaps continued. In fact, after safety measures were added in 2005, like higher railings and keep your dog on a leash kind of warnings, the number of incidents dropped but didn't stop. So as the word spread, the bridge became a media sensation. Newspapers dubbed it the dog suicide bridge. It evoked these images of lemmings marching to their deaths, kind of that comparison that's both sort of pretty dramatic and misleading, since, fun fact, lemmings don't actually commit mass suicide. That was a myth developed in 1958 by Walt Disney. If you ever watched the documentary, if you haven't watched it, it's kind of an interesting documentary called White Wilderness. full of misinformation. Oh, good job, Walt. Animal welfare groups got involved, and veterinarians began examining survivors for signs of illness or behavioral issues, but all the tests came back normal. There wasn't any rabies or neurological disorders or any evidence of abuse or anything like that. The dogs were all healthy and they were happy. Led to a flurry of investigations, blending science and folklore and the paranormal. So the leading theories are the scientific angle. First one, animal behaviorist Dr. David Sands, who studied the bridge in the early 2000s, proposed a compelling environmental explanation. He suggested that dogs are drawn to the scent of minks, small musky weasels that live along the burn.
That was going to be my first suggestion, was they're smelling something that they cannot say no to.
Yeah, it's something below the bridge, right? And
Mhm.
I can attest, like, minks are wily. We'll fish the Boise River, and they live in holes along the bank, and they will steal anything.
Mhm.
Like, they come and they go, and they're very elusive, kind of hard to see. And so I could see that maybe that, they've been spotted in the area and they've got a strong odor.
They do.
And it'll waft up in the wind, especially from the right-hand side, which David Sands says that where the terrain kind of funnels all the scents toward the parapet right there. So once they're fixated, a dog's prey, drive kind of kicks in, and the prey drive can override caution, he says. So Sands noted that the bridge's solid stone walls block the view downward, so dogs can't see the drop until it's too late. They lean over, they lose their balance, and they go down.
Mm-hmm. I had a dog and I could not take him hiking. I couldn't let him off leash hiking because if he saw a deer, he would be gone.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know what it was, and it wasn't just all large animals. Like, he didn't care about, like, cattle, cows, whatever. But we'd be out walking, and it was why I had to keep him on a leash when we were out hiking all the time, is for whatever reason, if he saw a deer, he would try to chase the deer or the herd of deer. Nothing else. It was just deer. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just a smell thing for him. I have no idea, but he would lose his mind. He would, like, become a completely different animal.
Yeah. Another animal where the fragrance of the animal is very compelling, both to the opposite sex of that animal and others. So you got mink, which is strong.
Mm-hmm.
I would put it first only to deer estrus, which is just it seems as strong, but maybe it's because when you go deer hunting, you douse yourself in deer estrus. Estrus. Estrus is one of those words where I'm like, that would have been a great woman name. To name your daughters.
Anne
had
of
it not
Green
been about
Estresses. Estrus of Green Gables.
Yeah, Estrus. Estrus and her daughter and her sister Urine. So they also think the architecture might be playing a role here. So Overton Bridge is slightly curved and banked. It's got this subtle incline that might be disorienting animals with sensitive inner ears. So dogs rely heavy on scent and hearing, not necessarily really great on depth perception. So a 2010 study by the University of Glasgow's veterinary school supported that theory, finding that the bridge's acoustics amplify echoes from the water below, potentially creating sort of this auditory lure that sounds like prey or playmates. And in the local wildlife, salmon runs in the burn during certain seasons could be releasing enticing fishy smells. And you have a perfect storm. Also, salmon runs, when salmon are running, a lot of people might not know this, but they're making their way either to or from laying their eggs. And so during that journey, they're also in the last leg of their own life. And these salmon are literally falling apart while they're making this journey. And they're their bodies are literally falling apart as they make it. So I'm sure that could also increase the fragrance in the air.
Yes, to the point like where they stop eating. And
Oh, yeah.
so when you're fishing for them, what you're doing is you're just trying to hook them.
Yeah.
Like
snagging them.
they're not going after bait. They're literally, you're just throwing a hook out there. And as there's so many of them as they swim by, you just hook one like,
Yep.
and then you pull it in.
Yep. My brother and I, during the salmon days in Issaquah, Washington, we were right near Microsoft's headquarters. We were in the Seattle Slough, and the salmon were running. We didn't really know. I want to say we didn't know, but we hooked into the back of a king salmon on our Zebco 303 little reel, rod and reel. And we're pulling it in. A cop shows up. He's like, when that hits the bank, you got to let it go. And we're like, okay. We felt really bad, but it actually kind of broke away before we got it all the way. But yeah, that's about the only way you can catch them during that phase is hooking them. So the architecture in this case is a compelling thought. You kind of have this perfect storm of instinctual triggers with the way the architecture is set up, especially when you combine the acoustic elements, right? There were some experiments with scent trails on replica bridges. They showed that the dogs will veer toward mink-marked edges, lending credence to that theory. So it's sort of like you combine all those together, the olfactory element of mink, the auditory, the disorientation, and you kind of have a what's that triangle called?
Bermuda.
The Bermuda Triangle of dogness. But not everybody is buying the mink hypothesis. There's some critics that point out that the jumps occur year-round, so not just during mink breeding season. So many breeds involved, like sight hounds, aren't particularly scent-driven. So moreover, why only this bridge? Scotland has tons of gorges and wildlife hotspots, yet Overton stands alone in its notoriety when it comes to this. So this brings us to the psychological and behavioral theories. So some experts suggest infrasound. It's low-frequency vibrations, inaudible to humans, but detectable by dogs. They could be emanating from the rushing water or underground sources, inducing panic or disorientation. My thought was if infrasound was an element, the bridge could actually be acting like an amplifier or kind of a piezo effect if there was low vibration. Others propose a form of canine depression or this pack instinct gone wrong, though that feels to me kind of like a stretch for family pets on leashes, especially with the number that's jumping, right? So then we lurk into the shadows. Folklore, supernatural, center stage.
It's the
Scotland.
ghost of William Wallace.
Yes, that's what I'm going with. Good boy, Braveheart. Scotland, after all, land of legends. Loch Ness, you got Selkies, you got Banshees. Overton Bridge has its own ghostly resident that they've coined the White Lady of Overton. It's a spectral figure said to haunt the estate. Witnesses describe a woman in white, sometimes with a dog at her side. You realize it's always a woman in white. It's never like a woman in cream or a woman in
Daisy
hues.
yellow.
The woman in paisley.
Yes.
The woman in corduroy pants. It's always a woman in white.
Chartreuse.
Yeah. So she's said to haunt the estate. Witnesses describe her sometimes with a dog at her side and appearing on moonlit nights. Local lore ties her to the early 1900s when a young woman, possibly a servant or guest, tragically fell or jumped from the bridge. I'm going to do that again with a little interject. Tragically fell
Or jumped.
from the bridge after a heartbreak or family dispute. Her spirit, they say, lures dogs to follow her into the gorge, perhaps seeking companionship in death. Misery loves company. The Overton house itself adds some fuel to the fire with this. So in 1994, a horrific event unfolded that some believe cursed the bridge forever. Happened on August 24th. 37-year-old James Hamilton threw his infant son from the bridge in a murder-suicide attempt. The baby died from head injuries, while Hamilton survived with a broken back. Why is everybody breaking their spine in these jumps? That's crazy.
Maybe the ghost broke their back.
Maybe. Well, you know what? You're not too far off. In this case, he later claimed that a voice commanded him to do it, blaming the evil presence on Overton. So paranormal investigators, we know that they're real, point to this as the tipping point. When they say when negative energy saturated the site, that could have been what happened here. Reports of strange occurrences at the house, like doors slamming, whispers in empty rooms. Are they empty if you can hear them?
Yeah.
And pets that act agitated, like all of those things predated that particular incident, but intensified only afterward. So ghost hunters using EMF meters and EVP recorders, we all know those are real, have captured anomalies around the bridge, including canine growls with no source. There is deeper lore. Some tie the bridge to ancient Celtic beliefs in what are called thin places, spots where the veil between worlds is porous. I'm not a big believer, but this is my kind of lore. I like this kind of stuff. So the burn below was once a site for druidic rituals.
Mm-hmm.
And the area's quartz-rich soil might amplify electromagnetic fields, creating a portal effect that disorients animals and sensitive humans, like fathers with babies.
Mm-hmm.
Fringe theories even invoke fairies or shapeshifters, drawing dogs into the fairy realm, while the sounds like tall tales, they're rooted in Scotland's rich mythological traditions. So there's a lot of natural features like bridges that are often served as gateways to the other world in Scottish mythology. I should qualify. I don't believe that, but I like lore like that, you know. I like witch lore. I like that kind of creepy stuff. I don't know, there's something about trees with no leaves on them, a good witch tale, and you know, the demise of a couple children.
There's a half decent. I want to do a book recommendation.
Yeah.
Author is Kevin Hearne, Hearne, and he has a series where he writes his main protagonist is a druid, like an actual legitimate druid. So if you like that kind of stuff, it's a fun, like it's not anything too serious. It's kind of just like an action series about a druid. And,
what's it called again?
It's the Iron Druid Chronicles.
The Iron Druid Chronicles. Okay.
Yeah. So I know about it because it takes place in Arizona, is where the main character actually lives. But he's a druid from, Scotland area.
Okay.
He's Celtic. But yeah, pretty good book. It's not the best series you'll ever read, but it's a good book. Like if you're bored, it's a good series to check out. But anyways, continue.
The mystery got enough traction that the BBC actually installed cameras and scent detectors there in 2015 on the bridge. But just like every good mystery, nothing happened. So the mystery stayed intact. So today, Overton Bridge remains a draw for the curious. The Overton Trust, which manages the estate, has invested in higher fences. Now they're 6 feet tall, and awareness campaigns. So visitors can tour the house and grounds, but signs sternly warn, keep dogs on leashes. Animal psychologists, because we know they're real, continue to study it, using GPS collars on test dogs to map their reactions. I'm going to say those GPS collars would all show the same. They're like, nope, yep, we see a significant drop in height. Like, what? Why? some survivors like Jack and Jake the Jack Russell, they've lived out happy lives far from Scotland and the bridge, but their stories linger as cautionary tales. That's the Overton Bridge. Avoid it if you're a dog or a really ugly person.
Yeah. And avoid it if you are a dad with a kid.
Yeah, dads with kids, avoid. Keep your kid on a leash. Keep your babies on a leash.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
Yeah, we had the bridge in the town next to where I live. There was a dad who threw his kids over the bridge.
Really?
He had already killed them, though. They were in a suitcase.
Oof.
So, yeah, that happened in the town next door.
Really?
I think Sword and Scale did a podcast on the guy.
Really?
Yeah. He was a IT guy, kind of a weird dude. And, yeah, he murdered his whole family and ended up driving them, for some reason, to Newport, Oregon, and he chucked their bodies off the bridge in a suitcase.
Oh, they were probably dead.
They were. He was just trying to hide the, like, I don't know why you would try to hide someone by throwing them off of a bridge. It's the Longo case.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's been a couple podcasts that have done cases on Longo, and I'm pretty sure Sword and Scale did one. Actually, I'm almost positive. Christian Longo.
Yeah.
That happened. That bridge. And then later I found out a guy I worked with, it's illegal, but so I won't say who it was. He threw his parents' ashes over the side of the bridge.
Really?
The same one, yeah. Which is illegal because he actually looked it up, and it's like, no, it's illegal to throw human ashes off this bridge. And so, but he's like, I'm gonna do it anyways. This is one of their favorite places.
I'm gonna show you something kind of funny. Oh, that's too small. I took a series of photos that you just can't believe. Let me share my screen really quick. Doot. So the first one is at the top of a parking garage, downtown Boise. Actually, it looks like this one. This isn't my photo. This one's at the top of a parking garage at Boise State University, but they have the same kind of signs at the top of the parking garage as downtown Boise, and it says, "We're here for you." And then it's like a suicide and crisis lifeline that you can call or text, right? QR code. They make it very, very easy to
get a hold of someone.
Get help.
Yeah.
From the view from the top of the parking garage downtown Boise where I parked, this is what you see. It's called it's a Simplot building. If you know Simplot, they make fries and agriculture stuff. This is what you see. Because they have a place called Jack's Urban Meeting Place.
Ugh.
Jump. Jack's
Yikes.
Urban Meeting Place. But that red sign is staring you in the face from the top of the parking garage.
And it doesn't help that it looks like the sign is literally jumping,
right?
It doesn't just say jump. It literally, the way the font is and the way the letters are all arranged, it literally looks like jumping.
Yeah. And when you're at the parking garage and the sign, because the signs are knee level, they're on like the concrete wall. So you're looking at the sign, and if you're looking at the sign but contemplating jumping, the next thing your eyes see are the red jump sign. It's the weirdest.
Then imagine you're standing there and someone pulls up behind you, blaring the song "Jump, Jump."
Yeah,
just
that
over and
too,
over again.
Chase.
Jump, jump. Perfect storm.
That would be the perfect storm. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, that's all we've got. Hopefully I didn't depress everybody too much with the dog suicide. I wouldn't have brought it up if it wasn't real, but it's
Yeah.
real. So
It is very
now you
real.
know. If you visit Scotland with your Jack Russell Terrier, keep it on a leash. We love you, and we'll
Love
be
you.
back fortnightly. Not quite sure how that 20
Fortnite
days?
is 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll be back in like 4.5 days.
Mhm.
Because we got to do the weekend, and then we'll come back.
Like a quarter of a fortnight, we'll be back.
Yep. Thanks for being here, all 10 of you. Well, we lost a lot of people today. I wonder if it was the suicides.
Yeah. It's probably lunch times for some people too. Break time.
I'm going to blame it on my suicide dogs, not on your list of hominids.
Yeah.
But we all know what it was. Just kidding. All right. Love you, everybody. Soup.
Bye.
So, soup, soup, let's start the show.